This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, August the 16th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Yesterday, we were talking about a rather warm weekend, and now it looks like we're setting up for a pretty wet pattern for the week ahead. But before we get onto that, how about what happened in Phoenix, Arizona yesterday? 115 degrees set a new record high temperature for that date, breaking the old record of 112 set back in 1992. And it's their 18th day of 110 plus for 2015. Doesn't look like we'll get up to the record for that. There was a record warm low. You got to get that right. 93 degrees that broke the old warm low of 90 set back in 2011. So it's hot out in the southwestern U.S. Fortunately, it's not that hot here. When it's hot out there, it's usually not hot here. The Skycam view from the Birmingham Skycam shows that we do have some clouds across the area. High pressure is at the surface over West Virginia, is making its influence felt across much of the eastern third of the country, nosing well into the Central Plains states. And in the upper atmosphere, we've got a bit of a weakness stretching from West Virginia down along and across the lower Mississippi River Valley into the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. And that is keeping things a bit unsettled, and it looks like we're going to stay somewhat unsettled for a good portion of the week ahead. Temperatures across central Alabama this morning, because of the clouds being in place, their temperatures are fairly mild. We typically see morning lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s, and we're generally in the lower 70s and mid 70s. So we're pretty much on track for temperatures this time of year. And on the radar, we see that we have a good deal of echoes in two locations over southwest Alabama and northwest Florida, and then up across the area of northern Alabama with showers that were fairly numerous yesterday. On the watch warning map, we still have heat advisories and heat warnings in effect for southwestern United States. And the green area you see in Nebraska is a flash flood watch that's being posted because they're going to be getting some wet weather as well. The quantitative precipitation forecast shows that we are looking at a couple of bands of precipitation along the Gulf Coast, over the southeastern U.S., and back up into the Nebraska, Iowa, western Great Lakes area. So a good deal of precipitation over the next 5 days. I think for most locations in central Alabama, we're probably going to see between 1.5 inches and 2 inches, and precipitable water values are pretty high, so we'll talk about those in just a moment. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a slight risk over parts of northeastern Colorado, parts of Nebraska, and extreme northwestern Iowa for today, and that area, of course, surrounded by a marginal risk. Day 2, the risk stays in eastern Colorado primarily and affecting parts of western Nebraska and western Kansas. And then day 3, we see that slight risk is still there just ahead of the front. And on day 4, the slight risk has moved out into the Ohio River Valley and the mid-Mississippi River Valley. Tropics, well, we've been experiencing some rather quiet tropics for the last couple of months of hurricane season, but now we have an area of disturbed weather, not expected to develop anything with a name in the next 5 days. And out in the Pacific, we have Tropical Depression 11E that has formed and is forecast to stay well out in the Pacific. All right, let's get to the 06Z GFS model run. And there's a look at our pattern for today, and you can see the weakness stretching from western Kentucky down into the coastal area of Texas, and indeed the GFS picking up on showers around those areas, especially down along the Gulf Coast. And precipitable water values are on the rise. There's a look at what the values are forecast to be today at midday. And definitely, I think we're going to see showers moving up. And, of course, we are seeing showers on radar now, but showers moving up into parts of central Alabama. By Monday, our weakness is still there. We've got a bit of a troughiness over the lower Mississippi River Valley, and that weakness is staying put. And, of course, that is going to be the focus for some showers. So, once again, we are likely to stay fairly wet on Monday. And precipitable water values definitely well over the 2-inch mark on Monday. Tuesday, the weakness in the trough is still there, but a stronger trough is coming in from the northwest, and that will help to generate a surface low and hopefully at least move things a little further eastward with time. But unfortunately, we stay in the soup. There's the precipitable water values, and indeed we're staying around the 2-inch mark over much of the southeastern U.S. By Wednesday, that stronger trough is beginning to influence the weakness over the lower Mississippi River Valley, and so that should be moving out a little bit at least, but I don't think it's going to move too far. And we see on the surface map, we see the surface low up in the western Great Lakes with a cold front trailing down into the central Mississippi River Valley, but it doesn't really move through. The trough now moves up Thursday, moves up northward into Canada. And so the result is the front doesn't get through our area, and so we see the front more or less down in the area, down in the vicinity of Memphis, and so we're staying fairly wet. By Thursday, into Friday, the trough is moving on out and weakening, but notice that it just never really gets through the area, so it's not going to be one of these things where the cold front blasts through and we see the air mass change. And unfortunately, this is the precipitable water values for Friday, and indeed it's showing that we still are in the soup over here. Getting out to Saturday, and we have another trough coming in, a little bit of a ridge going on, but some little disturbances in there, but we have another trough coming in from the northwest. And if you are a fan of the European, interesting that at this particular time frame, the European is showing a fairly substantial tropical development out near the Lesser Antilles. So we throw that in there into the mix. By the time we get out to Sunday on the GFS, this second trough is coming into the western Great Lakes. And so once again, that's really keeping another front on its way, and that's keeping us still pretty much into the moist air mass. Going out into Voodoo Country, the GFS suggests that the ridge comes back. The heat ridge will come back around the 25th of August, so it looks like the hot weather's not over completely. And by the time we get out to the very end of August, August 31st, the GFS is suggesting a trough. So once again, that suggests that the heat will be short-lived. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect James Spann to be back in the saddle with the next edition of the Weather Xtreme video first thing on Monday morning. In the meantime, stay tuned to the blog for later updates on Alabama's ever-changing weather pattern. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day. Stay dry.